young, I was scared. I knew these people were powerful. I didn't know what would happen if I said no. I didn't know what would happen if I reported them. That 16-year-old girl just let it happen. And that was how I got into the abuse with Jeffrey and Ghislaine.
Virginia Roberts was working in the spa at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago club in Palm Beach when British socialite Ghislaine Maxwell introduced her to multimillionaire Jeffrey Epstein.
The training started immediately. I mean, it was everything down to how to give a blowjob, how to be quiet, be subservient, give Jeffrey what he wants. A lot of this training came from Ghislaine herself. And being a woman, it kind of surprises you that a woman could actually let stuff like that happen, but not only let it happen, but to groom you into doing it. And then there's Jeffrey who's telling you, I want it this way, no, go slower and don't do that. You don't know how to, you're screaming on the inside and you don't know how to let it come out. And you just become this numb figure who refuses to feel and refuses to speak and refuses, all you do is obey, that's it. And eventually it led to, well, now we're gonna experiment and we're gonna try you with another guy and see how you go. So they sent me to an island with a professor and I basically had to do what I did for Jeffrey for him. So it's very private. It's the perfect world for a billionaire getting away with what he was doing. He could hold big parties there and have huge orgies there and nobody would have any idea what was going on because it was so quiet and so protected. And it started with one and then it trickled into two and then so on and so forth. And you know, before you know it, I'm being lent out to politicians and to academics and to people that royalty.
Roberts claimed in an affidavit that two of the men that Epstein lent her out to were attorney Alan Dershowitz and Prince Andrew, the Duke of York. Dershowitz and Prince Andrew have both denied any involvement with Roberts. A judge later struck Roberts' affidavit from the court record, but the ruling did not address the veracity of her allegations. Dershowitz said he was nonetheless vindicated. Logs from Epstein's private jet, nicknamed the Lolita Express, show a host of high-powered politicians, academics, and celebrities.
It's called Lolita Express for a reason. That was a vessel for him to be able to abuse girls and get away with it without anybody being alarmed or any alarm bells going off.
A lot of the time being around older men just gives me flashbacks. It's just trauma that I didn't even knew I had until, I've worked through a lot of things through therapy and stuff like that, and you just don't even realize that going through something like that molds you to be how you are today. It was a very dark time in my life, but I just hope that basically he gets what prosecuted the way he should have been from the beginning.
What I thought was so little to my life has affected me so much. I've had children and I never tried. I can't have my breast touched. It brings back things. I tried to breastfeed for the first time, my third child, last year, and it was the most excruciating and heartbreaking thing to not be able to do it because the pain was so intense. Then it brought back something that felt so stupid back then, that I thought had no relevance, and that if I told anybody, they'd be like, you wanted money, why would you do that? Like, nobody would understand. None of us talked about it after that. The friends, we never talked about stuff like that. I've been in therapy for over 10 years and I've never talked to my therapist about it.
I was always angry after that happened. I can remember punching holes in walls. There were some times where I would just slam my head onto something. My thing that I wanted to do was pick something up. I can remember the countertop at my parents' house. I was so upset. I just wanted to break it, and I ripped it off the countertop.
What were your parents saying at this time? Did they say we need to get you to get help? Or?
They're like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, I don't know. I just want to die. I just want to go away. I don't know what's wrong with me. I want to be somewhere else. I don't know what's wrong. And then they're like, you want to kill yourself? And I'm like, I don't know. I just don't want to be angry anymore. I don't know why I'm so mad. And I was just thinking to myself, nobody is going to want to be with me again for the rest of my life. Like, I'm gonna have to explain this for the rest of my life to anybody that I would really want to be with. And so it was awful.
In 2001, Jennifer Arose was 14 years old, a freshman at this New York high school, when one day she says a woman approached her outside.
The first time she brought up the name Jeffry Epstein, how did she describe him to you?
He was just a great guy. She was just saying, like, you know, he's helped me. I've struggled. Like, she was similar to me.
And when you think of her now, you used the phrase, you said the recruiter. So you felt like she was looking for someone for him.
100%, yeah.
Arose says weeks later, the recruiter brought her to Epstein's townhouse just blocks from her school. She says she and Epstein talked, drank wine. As Arose left, she says she was given $300 by a secretary. After a few weeks of visits, Arose says she went alone to Epstein's massage room, where he pressured her into giving him a massage.
In that moment, it didn't
At that moment,
feel
yes.
strange to you.
But at the same time, I was scared too, so I kind of just followed. You know, I would have just my underwear on because that's how he liked it, so. And I would just get massages back, and then he would potentially later on turn over and play with himself. Then he would finish himself off, and then that would be the end of it. And he would still give me the $300.
How often do you think you were there?
Yeah, like once a week, twice a week, my freshman year.
After Arose turned 15, she says things took a turn.
You know, just take your underwear off and get on top. And I said I didn't want to. And he, you know, very forcefully kind of brought me into the table. I just did what he told me to do. I was really scared. I was telling him to stop. Please stop.
And did he?
No, he did not stop.
Arose says she didn't tell anyone immediately about her interactions with Epstein. She says she was too scared to go to the police, but that she eventually confided in 4 people. All confirmed to NBC News that Arose told them what happened years ago.
Did Jeffry Epstein rape you?
Yeah, no, he raped me. Forcefully raped me, but knew exactly what he was doing. And I don't think cared. What hurts even more so is that if I wasn't afraid to come forward sooner, then maybe he wouldn't have done it to other girls.
NBC News reached out to Epstein's lawyers for comments several times, but they have not responded. In previous discussions with Arose's lawyers, Epstein's attorneys have challenged her credibility.
What would you say to those who say, a civil suit, lawyers, this is about getting money?
He hurt me badly. I prefer not to go through this. So, you know, this is one way for me to get justice.